A lot of the time when a customer asks for a trial, it can be a kind of incognito objection to say, hey, we're not really that interested, and they're trying to buy themselves some time to avoid putting off a decision. So the first thing you want to do when you get asked to give a proof of concept or a trial is validate that it's actually something they need to do as part of the evaluation. Best way to do that is ask a question like, what would you be hoping to achieve in a proof of concept? You want them to say measurable outcomes. We can achieve A, B, C. You don't want fluffy things like, hey, we just want to click around, because that will mean that generally the trial isn't meaningful or worth doing. If they can't give you measurable actual outcomes that they're hoping to achieve during the trial, then it's worth maybe taking a few steps back and seeing if there's anything you've missed and validating that a trial is really going to make any difference for them and something they actually need to do. However, if they do say that they want to measure outcome A, outcome B, outcome C, then it's worth putting together a trial plan. What I want to do with my trials and proof of concept is almost emulate what it's going to be like for them as a customer of my company, but at a much smaller scale. What that does mean is I want to be involving end users. I want them to be using my product in their day-to-day lives as opposed to the way they're currently doing things. So naturally, that takes a lot more setup than just sending them a license, allowing them to click around. But that's good, because the fact that you're doing this as a real proof of concept, you are able to, again, validate that if they're willing to put in the effort on this trial, then it's actually worth doing. So I'm talking, we want training sessions, we want a timeline, we want to outline the 2 to 3 measurable outcomes that will allow them to know if the trial has been a success or not. And of course, validate that if those outcomes are met during the trial, that they will be ready to move forward. If there's anything else that they're still unsure about, it's worth addressing that before you go through all the effort of setting up with a trial. Once you've set some outcomes for the trial, I want to record those somewhere in a deal room. So a deal room can be a great place to set up your trial for success. I'm going to have my outcomes in there. I'm going to have the timeline of the trial. We might have an introductory call, a midway check-in call, and an end call to discuss if the goals were met. I'm going to have that all mapped out in a deal room. And I'm going to be able to also invite the end users who are going to be using my product during the trial, so they can have some resources there for their success, almost like a mini trial knowledge base. They're going to have demo videos, tutorials. It's also going to be a place that they can communicate directly with me if they have any troubleshooting questions or those types of things. I can outline exactly who's going to be part of that trial, who those end users are, what they should expect to achieve, and include videos, walkthroughs of how they're actually going to do that, all in one single place. While the trial's running, I'm going to be measuring engagement, both my product, are they logging in, are they using the product, but also looking in the deal room to see the activity there. Are they opening up? Are they watching videos? Are they asking me questions? Those are all early indicators of whether the trial is going to be a success or not. If it's not looking engaged enough, then I'm going to reach out and take some corrective action. I'm going to suggest maybe another call to go over the product, make sure everyone's onboarding correctly. Following the trial, I'm going to regroup with my buying team, the folks who initiate the trial, go through the outcomes and recap success. All of those metrics, etc. I'm going to also include in the deal room so it's super visible exactly what they were able to achieve and if we hit those desired outcomes or not. If we did, then guess what? I'm going to go try and close the sale. So hey, at the start of this trial, you said you were hoping to achieve outcome 1, outcome 2, and outcome 3. Based on these metrics, it looks like we were able to hit those goals. We agreed that these would be the things that would allow you to move forward. So let me ask, are we ready to get started here? And then we can move on to the next step in the sales process. By having it all in one place, I'm allowed to track engagement, make sure it's super easy for people to get on board and actually use the tool during the trial, but also keep my customer kind of accountable to the commitments and outcomes that they're trying to achieve during the trial. And that way it will keep it moving versus someone logs in and then never use the product at all. Aligned.